This local sports report is brought to you by Allstate Insurance, a proud member of the Cambridge community, supporting youth athletics. For a free, no obligation quote for home and auto insurance, contact one of their trusted advisors. Call Allstate at 226-444-4465 to speak with your local Cambridge Allstate representative.
You know, it feels like forever ago that we had the opportunity to watch a Cambridge Lions football game, but I think everybody is hopeful that maybe this spring we'll get back to some tackle football. Here is the senior varsity head coach, Jackson Yonkis. Good to see you, Jackson. Tell us what the latest is in terms of a possible season for this spring and summer.
Hey, Darren, like everybody else right now, it's kind of a dark time in the pandemic, and we knew it was going to get worse, in the winter, as these things do. But we're hopeful, with vaccinations and everything going on right now and the trends we saw last year, that we're able to do even more than we were able to do last summer. Ultimately last summer we ran a really successful program for our linemen and flag season, with what we were able to do at that point. So our model for 2021 is we want to do everything we're able to do. And obviously right now safety is the most important thing, but we're hoping that, come the summer, come the spring, we're able to get back on the field and get back to what so many of our athletes are looking for right now, which is, meaningful tackle football.
We were talking off camera a minute ago. You said there's been really great engagement, and the players obviously are chomping at the bit to get back on the field, and I'm chomping at the bit to cover football as you are to coach football. Registration numbers are really solid, though, so far. Why do you think that is, and how happy are you to see that the players are still there and they're still engaged and they're still working hard?
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough, and being someone that works with young people both in schools and in the community, Cambridge Lions, it's a tough time right now to be a high school athlete. I was telling our coaches, we had a coaches meeting the other night, as hard as it is for us, I mean, we got to play our senior season of high school football. We got to, go be a freshman in our first training camp in university, and these guys are missing that right now, and it's tough. So, I wasn't surprised that, we have so many guys that are excited about 2021. And, even though right now, our model is we're going to do everything we can. We can't make any promises. No one in the province can make any promises right now. But what I wanted to bring to the table was something, hey, for our athletes, like what can we do right now, right? I think you can sit there and make a list of things you can't do. And right now you need a lot of pen and paper for that probably, but we wanted to put together what can we do. Usually we're starting right now with team meetings and install sessions. And with not 100% knowing if we're gonna have a season, we thought maybe, those kind of system sessions might not be exactly what our guys want. What they've really missed is an opportunity to not just be recruited, but learn more about universities and university football, and just get old-fashioned skill development, right? And right now we might not be able to hit the field and get to work on that, but we've put together a program for, our registered athletes for February and March that, is hopefully going to address those needs.
Let's go into that coaches clinic. You're going to have every OUA school, a coach from every OUA school speaking to your athletes. What kind of messages are you hoping to get across, and what do you think they can take away from it? I think it's a great opportunity to learn, to get noticed. Obviously, for most of these players with the Lions, the goal is to get recruited and play university football one day. I think what you put together is really excellent. You're right. You can't be on the field. Sometimes X's and O's get a little bit boring, but you can still learn and absorb information, obviously, from highly skilled and highly qualified coaches in the OUA.
Yeah, it's been great. We were really fortunate with some of our connections through our staff to now have 17 schools. So all 11 OUA programs and 6 out of province programs signed up for dates to present to our registered athletes. Mm-hmm. And, I think kids will get different things from it, right? I think a lot of our athletes through football get exposed to opportunities in education where, when they were early in high school, maybe they weren't sure what they want to do. And then through being recruited or seeing their friends get recruited, they become aware of opportunities that are out there for them, both educationally and from a football standpoint. So I think having a chance to not just, I think OUA schools do a great job of recruiting, and a lot of our schools have been introduced, or a lot of our players have been introduced to those schools. But right now you can't go on a visit and meet coaches. You can't walk the campus of a school. Certainly if that school's out of province, right? There's very few ways. You can hop on the internet, anyone can do that. but I think we all know that that personal connection goes a long way to feeling what that school is about. So whether it's, St. FX and St. Mary's out east, or, Calgary and UBC out west, we're excited to have 17 schools from across the country on Monday nights starting February 1st. And the other thing I don't want our guys to do, I know they're on Zoom calls all the time right now. I know, I'm running them myself as an elementary teacher. So we don't want to take too much of their time. So it'll be 1 hour on Monday nights, 2 20-minute sessions with coaches from across the country, and they'll have 10 minutes for questions for each. And then hopefully those conversations continue, right? You follow someone on Twitter or social media, get an email, telephone number, and you're able to make, that connection you get from that meeting, turn into more conversation about your future. And again, whether you're, a JV player who's just starting that process and wants to learn as much as you can about any school, or you're a senior varsity guy who says, hey, I'm going to apply next year to these 5 schools, the chances to make those connections are there. So I think from a recruiting standpoint, we pride ourselves, we were talking before on air about, or off air, about helping our guys get opportunities. And, I think our Cambridge Lions brand is well respected across the OUA, and we're trying to extend that across the country.
And I think those connections you make, Jackson, is the first step. And I think it's incredible. And if we can get back to tackle football this spring, summer, obviously that'll make a huge difference as well in terms of seeing the skill set of the players on the field. One of your mandates and one of your goals as a coach of the senior varsity program is to get these kids recruited. And obviously providing opportunities like this with 17 coaches from across the country goes a long way for these kids, learning about the school, learning about the different coaches, and learning about things that, will help them with the best fit for their future. And obviously that's what it's all about. And you've had great success in the last 4 or 5 years, placing kids at the next level. Almost 80 kids from the Cambridge Lions program have gone on to the next level. How much pride do you take in that, helping kids get good opportunities and good fits?
Yeah, I mean, we've been really fortunate to have a lot of really talented players, hardworking kids choose to play for us. Since 2016, when I came on board, I was stepping into a healthy program that, had a tradition of success and a tradition of helping guys get to the next level. When we started it, we were making, we were pointing out guys like James Roberts or Pickett at Guelph, and, guys like Chris Aki at Laurier, guys who played for our program that have gone to be successful. And it's just been so great to see guys right from that 2016 year to now, continue to make that jump. And, we pride ourselves on helping guys get those opportunities. But at the end of the day, our kids have just worked really hard and bought into what we're selling. And, the coaching staffs that I've been able to work with, whether it's, Coach Scotto, Coach Sauer, guys that have been with me since our first season in 2016, to guys that we've just had for this year's staff. I'm just, we've been incredibly fortunate to have so many people come through our program that can help our guys reach their goals. And, we have a lot of guys that you might say, hey, they went to university and they haven't started a game yet, or they're in that journey. And I talked to those guys and they felt that, Lions prepared them for the challenge that's going to, be university football, right? I think when you're a high school athlete, you think, hey, I'm going to go on to the next level and I'm going to start and I'm going to be, an impact player. And that's the goal. But it takes a lot of hard work and good fortune to get there. And I think, some of our guys have, gone on to be all Canadians, and that's exciting. And some of our guys have gotten a great experience, whether it's on a scout team or, dressing a few games, and they're excited for their opportunity on the other side of this pandemic as well. Some of our young guys just committed in the last few years to make their name at that level. So, hopefully we can take, the recruiting we spoke about, and then the skill sessions that we're going to run on Wednesday nights, and help the next generation, build those skills, because really you can do some amazing things now. Obviously learning online, we'd all love to be on the field, but, I look at some of the things that we can do, getting CFL guys, NFL guys like Tyler Varga back, to come speak at these skill development sessions. When I was in high school, I don't think there was too many NFL, CFL players hopping on. I don't even know what we would have used at the time. Probably nothing. It probably didn't exist. But to have those guys come on and say, hey, do you want to learn a little something about, playing man coverage from Chris Aki, or, do you want to learn something about a pass set from Ben Petrie? A chance to talk with impact players, guys who've been successful, and coaches. Hey, if you're a high school athlete, do you want, Coach V from Laurier to talk about D-line fundamentals? The guy's only coached, I think, 12 probably CFL defensive linemen at this point. Those opportunities are great too. So, we'd love to say, hey, we have a registration ready and we'll see you on the field April 1st. But we're trying to put together a list of what we can do, not focus on what we can't. And I think between the recruiting opportunities and the positional specific skill development, we're doing the best we can for our players.
Obviously, some of the parents and the players are going to watch this interview. What would your message be right now, Jackson? I know we've heard a lot of things, stronger together and all these various things, but if you could speak to them directly, what would you say about where we're at and potentially what the best case scenario is for everybody this summer? I know everybody's anxious.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough time, right? Like I was, talking yesterday, and I think I've been to 2 practices a week my whole life since I was 4 for something, right? And our guys are in the midst of what should be, maybe the most fun sport of their life, right? That high school experience where, you're able to play with your friends, guys you've grown up with, guys who maybe played in our program for 5-6 years together. And it's tough. There's no question you got to take care of yourself. And right now, that's a lot harder to do because there's less things that are available to you. But making sure that our players understand we want to do everything we can, right? We're not just going to sit on the sideline and wait until it's easy for us to help, or we're not just going to put out a social media message saying, hey, post your pictures of practice because we're all missing practice. Like, yeah, that's cool, but like, what are we actually going to do? And I think our players, they recognize that it's important to try and pursue the opportunities you can and not focus on what's not available to you. And, right now we have a chance to do meaningful work, and hopefully that translates into an opportunity to get better this summer. And I think, we talked there and off air before, flag last year was like, our guys loved it. And we were like everybody, we were getting ready for hopefully a season and then transition to flag, and when will we be allowed to start? And there was so much unknown. Going into a second year, hopefully we'd be able to improve on that, and hopefully we're not in that situation.
Jackson, what carries over from the flag football? Because obviously it's not tackle football, but you still had schemes, you still had plays. And I think at that point too, end of last summer, beginning of last fall, everybody was just happy to be out running around, to be back on the field after sort of the first shutdown had concluded. But as a coach, these are things that you can take into this spring, summer, if we get tackle, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, obviously, everyone's at a different level when they come in. We had some guys, like you just did the story on Drake Davis, and guys like Nick Malman, 5th-year guys that, or 5th-year guys this year, guys who were seniors last year, that coming in with a tremendous amount of experience. Some guys would come in with less. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, I think anytime you're competing and anytime, you're taking your knowledge of the game and advancing it, whether that's learning how to run better routes or whether that's learning, hey, this is what tri-lock coverage is. There's ways you can extend that. And, we will at some point get back to playing football, and hopefully that's this summer. And those skills, part of, again, like what we're trying to do with these skill sessions, yep. Right? You got to focus on building what you can build. And I think our guys last year got exposed to, whether it's new types of scheme, whether it's, just opportunities to work on things like route running, moving with the football, and just getting them being active. Like we thought is so important. Right now it's tough. It's obviously middle of January, and, going for a walk right now is not the most fun thing to do, but you got to do what you can. And I think that, last summer we had a lot of guys that not only enjoyed the experience, but once we get back to football are going to see the benefit, from that development.
We talked about Drake Davis there a little bit. Just a quick comment about him committing to Ryan Sheehan and the Guelph Griffins for this fall for the 2021 OUA season. How happy are you for Drake? And I think he's just so deserving of this opportunity. He was a great player with the CCVI Spartans in District 10 football, and staying close to home, going to Guelph. Just a great opportunity for him to continue his football career and do it at a place where I know they've had a lot of success in Guelph the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, Drake worked really hard, and I think anytime you have a guy that, has played football as long as Drake has, how much it means to him, right? Drake's been a long time star in our program, and like you said, had a great career at Centennial there in Guelph, and he's a clutch player, like you alluded to it. I mean, there would be times last year where we would seem to really need to play the most, and I think of on that long drive when we wound up scoring against Burlington. I think we had a 3rd and 12, huge catch from him. Multiple times he caught touchdowns, whether it's last drive of a half or, last drive of a game. And, Drake is one of those guys that kept working on his craft, kept getting better. And I tell our guys all the time, like, it's not everyone's journey is going to take a different path, and some guys are going to get recruited right away, and some guys are going to get recruited later on in the process. But at the end of the day, I mean, Drake pursued every opportunity. Like I think you mentioned with MVP 7-on-7, he played, went to Team Ontario tryouts. He played high school football, played summer ball. And ultimately, I think Guelph's getting a player that loves to play football and has a skill set. Oftentimes, the smaller guys get underrated, but if we learned anything from Josh Humber, the small undersized guys from Cambridge do all right. So we're confident, especially Drake to go there with Dan. I think is a special thing for him. Two high school teammates and Mike Warner as well. There's a good contingent of Cambridge guys heading to Guelph for this next year, and we wish Drake all the best. And I just got done watching my brother play for his hometown team in Guelph, and I know how much that meant to our family. So I'm sure for Drake and his family, that'll be a great experience.
You know what I hope we can see in a couple of months is Michael Warner to Drake Davis down the middle on 3rd and 12. And then 2 plays later, Michael Warner to Daniel George, touchdown Lions. We'll get
That'd be awesome. We'd love it. We'd love it. Like I said, right now we don't know anything for sure, but what we do know is our kids want to get better. And anyone who says, "Oh, you can't learn that much on a Zoom meeting," or "Oh, it's not real football," we've been fortunate enough, whether it's alumni or other connections that we have that are going to give up their time and do great presentations. So whether it's recruiting or position specific, skill development, we're not going to be on there talking about, oh, how much we miss football. We're going to be on there talking about things that can help our guys open up opportunities and help our guys get better. So, we're excited to have all 3 levels, Bantam, JV, and Senior on those calls, and it's a great opportunity.
And you can find out more about everything Jackson just talked about on the Lions website. You can register there for the sessions. 17 coaches from across the country. Wonderful opportunity for players to learn more about schools. That is at cambridgelions.ca. Find out everything there. We appreciate the time, Jackson. Good to see you. Hope to see you in a couple of months back on the field at Jacob Hessler.
Absolutely. Can't wait. Go Lions.
For more highlights, visit our website, 519sportsonline.ca. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.